Hello ladies and gentlemen, the Game for the Grave here, and welcome to Age of Wonders Planetfall. Now this is a new game I'm planning on starting, so yeah, this is, it's sort of like Civilization and such, I guess you could say, in terms of, basically, you know, it's sort of hexagonal squares. You build bases and stuff, and you then try and take over planets and win under certain conditions and stuff. And there are different races that you can play as. I'll just show you here. So yeah, we have the Amazons, the Assembly, the Dvar, Kirko, Oathbound, the Shakran, the Syndicate, and the Vanguard. Now these are all different in some ways. So the Assembly, as you can see, are sort of, you know, machines that are sentient. The Vanguard are basically just the human race, regular human people and stuff. The Oathbound are like really religious people who believe in protecting others and stuff. The Syndicate are sort of, they're like slavers and stuff. They think they're above everyone else, and they're like really rich and powerful people. The Amazons are, well, they're sort of like the Amazons, you know, from Greece and that. So they're powerful women, and yeah, they are sort of, they work with animals, they control animals and stuff like that. They don't, and yeah, and I think they're actually a pretty cool race. And the Kiriko are like, I don't know, insecty sort of creatures. The Shakran are sort of superior in most ways. They can infiltrate different races and stuff, and they look really cool, like dragons or some other sort of lizard. What else? The Dvar are sort of tiny people, dwarfs I suppose, who just want to gather loads of resources and become really rich and stuff like that. And they're short and they wear these suits that they can't come out of. What else? What else have I not covered? Assembly, Var. These are just different commanders and stuff. Yeah, I think that's all of them. And you can make your own, like, commanders and such. And they're basically, this is the main campaign here, the Remnants of the Star Union, and then these three are DLC ones that I have. And this is the Shakran one, basically. This is where they come from, and this is the Oathbound one, which is where they come from. So yeah, these are only accessible races if you have these DLCs. So yeah, and then this is like the main campaign here. So what you can do is they all have different stories. So you have the Vanguard, they have their own missions, so that leaves 6 here, and then Serenius Alpha here. Then of course the Kirko there, and then here. Then you have the Dvar there, and there. Then there's the Amazons here and here, Syndicate there, and Assembly. And then this last one, which I believe you can do by selecting whatever race you choose. And then another thing as well, so this is the first one, is you will see that, so you pick your race. It's always, for these ones you have a set race, as you can see. Then you have a secret technology which for this campaign is set, but you can play your own customizable, like, skirmish games I suppose, and you can pick your own race and technology and stuff. Then you pick perks which affect how the game works and what your commander has and how you start. Then you can select their own appearance, male, female. You set the posture, a background, what they look like and stuff. and then you give them a name, and you come up with like a banner, basically. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, and like I said, it's sort of like Civilization, except you don't have to gather like the same kind of resources. There are different resources, and it works a little differently, of course. But yeah, so we're gonna start a new campaign, and I'll just show you how it all works and stuff, and get this out of the way, and then you guys can let me know what you think of this.
The currents of the void shift around me. Follow my voice, my last possession. My name was Empress Carmenia, and I was the last regent of the Star Union. We built a paradise on 1,000 planets, a glistening web strung between the stars. But the cataclysm shattered all, leaving our people stranded and alien to one another. Whoever you are, whatever you have become, it is time to leave this dark age behind and return to the worlds of your ancestors. Uncover our secrets, but heed our mistakes. Forge a new empire, a new age of wonders.
And then we have our campaign. Now I'm going to be starting as the Vanguard on Leave 6, and I'll do their mission, then their second mission, which you unlock by doing the first one, and then we will sort of move through. So then I'll go to Kirko, then the Dvar, and I'll do their 2 missions, then we'll go to the Amazons, then the Syndicate, then the Assembly, and then this last one down here. Now, of course, if you guys aren't interested in this, let me know in the comments below, and I'll not bother doing any more episodes of it. But if you are interested in strategy games and things like that, then this might be a very interesting game for you, because there are dozens of different ways you could start. You could start off with a really powerful army, as like the Vanguard and stuff, and just go for like the divide and conquer, because there are also different endings for each mission, like each campaign, and this will affect how things happen. So imagine, depending on how you finish this mission on Leave 6, that will depend on how you start on Serenis Alpha. Now, it's more or less the same. Like, I suppose your choices are sort of inconsequential in that you'll get to the same point, but dialogue will change, cutscenes will be different, and you can actually make choices in who lives, who dies, who joins you, who doesn't, and who you make friends with, and who you kill. So, it's got all sorts of different ways of going about it and stuff, and it's really interesting. So anyway, let's go to Leave 6 first, and yeah. We'll work our way through and you guys can let me know what you think. So again, those are set, but then here I have a certain way I'd like this set up, because military attachment's a great one because you get a larger starting army, and that's cool. But for this, it's not necessary, because as you saw, this is a difficulty of 1 star, which means it's pretty easy. So I actually like to go for the colonist cryopods, because you'll have an extra population and a recreation dome at the very beginning, and this just gives you a bit of a head start in your cities and stuff. You can start with extra energy or with 2 random techs, but I don't think that's really necessary, because if you start off with a bigger city and you upgrade quicker, then that's sort of pointless. Then we have our vice down here as well, which is very interesting. You can pick no vice, and that's fine, but for each one you get, you basically get an extra point. It takes an extra point off, basically, so you get an extra 1 or 2 back. And all of them have, you know, a vice, so a thing that makes you bad in some way and it affects your game negatively, but it also has a positive outlook. And obviously the -1 ones are the pretty simple, not big effect, and then the -2 are slightly bigger. So cruel, if you get this, you're a tyrant, so your colonies have have +4 on happiness. But because you're cruel, you gain 200 morale each time you kill a unit in battle. Then Kleptomaniac, you take 10 energy from your empire each turn, but you start with an extra mod at the beginning of the game. Then party animal, because you're unproductive and such, that your productivity in all your colonies is down by 10%, but your units gain 100 morale because everyone's having a good time partying. Stubborn, your knowledge is down by 10%, so it takes longer for you to research things. However, it makes you and your commanding army +2 resistance to all status effects. That's only the army your commander is in. The others don't get this effect. Then Decadent is, you produce less food. However, because you're well fed, you get +10 health. Now, I would actually go for Stubborn because the knowledge reduction isn't too big of a deal, and the status effects resistance is pretty cool. But also there's a -2 one, and the effect isn't really that bad. So this means that I can get the support vehicle commander loadout, even though it doesn't really matter. And then on here I can also get either a veteran or a skilled diplomat. Now this is sort of it doesn't matter too much, if I'm completely honest, with this whole background, because the effect isn't huge. I personally wouldn't go for like covert operative or like these ones here, because like decreases secret technology research cost, decreases society operations research cost. It's like, it just isn't a big deal. It's not like really important. I'd rather go for veteran or skilled diplomat, because veteran, you start at level 3 and you get extra skill points and you gain more experience faster, which means you can up level your troops quicker and you can start off in a better position, and that's pretty cool when you're fighting and stuff. Then skilled diplomat, all the races you have plus 300 relation with at the beginning, except your own, but that's not a problem. And then fast talker, like me, your influence cost for bribing armies to leave a sector is reduced by 35%, which is pretty cool. So I think skilled diplomat's probably the best one to start off with, in my opinion. Of course, depending on how you play, that will change. All of these will change. You'll pick different ones. Or if you wanted to do like a hard start, like you wanted to do very difficult, you could have it on like the hardest difficulty and do no background, no colony supplement, basic equipment here, which is pretty pathetic, and then no vice. Or you could pick just one of the hardest vices, like decadent perhaps, or party animal. But I'm not going to, because I actually kind of want to win, so yeah. And then there's appearance, which I think personally the Vanguard have probably one of the best appearances, I suppose, like the uniforms, because I like this posture here, standing up tall with your arms behind your back and stuff. And I mean, the Amazons are pretty good as well, but these guys are my personal favourites. Probably the best hairstyle. And then you could have some on your jaw, but I don't think that's necessary. And then torso. I think that looks like one of the best. I do like that one. But this trench coat here is pretty good as well. I don't like that arm. I think it looks hideous. And then this is like, I don't know, sort of researchy lab looking. And this one's pretty good as well, like with the shoulder pads and stuff. And that's sort of bland. And this is like actually sort of like a DLC one I think you get as well. This isn't something that you should normally have, but it's up to you. I think that looks pretty good on the Amazons, but not on any of the others really. So yeah, I'd either go for this one or maybe that one. But I think I'll actually go for this one. And then your legs as well, you can change. I think I'll go for them. And then you can put some on your head. A bandana, which again is DLC, and as is this. Like an officer hat, a helmet, goggles, or a beret. Now the beret obviously sort of undoes your hair, so only put a hat on or anything if you don't mind it affecting your hair. Apart from the bandana, which clips through it, but whatever. I actually prefer to go hatless on this, so you can actually see like the hair, and I think that's pretty cool. And then you can put some on your face, which I'd probably go for like the eye patch perhaps, or I don't know, some earrings or something. These are DLC as well. You could go for these, but I personally think they kind of look hideous on most of your characters, so I would go for that usually. But, you know, I think for the sake of things, I'll just go for some piercings in my ear, and then you get cape, which, I mean, I think that's a DLC as well, but yeah, so you got these two options, which isn't much, but I think it's pretty cool actually to have like a cape on your back. Which actually reminds me, yeah, I think I'll actually change my torso to this one, because you have like the kit there, and then you have like it coming up around your neck and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. And then name, you can do whatever the hell you want, but I think I'll go for there we go. And then you can pick whatever you want on here. There are plenty of options, like you can pick from any of these, and yeah, and you can also make it look however you want as well. You can change the colours and such. And personally, I mean, there are different ones that I like more over others, and it honestly doesn't matter. This just changes like what your faction's like banner looks like, and then sort of the colour scheme as well changes, and depending on what colours you pick. So yeah, pick whatever you want. You know, it can be random, stupid, whatever. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't change anything other than what it looks like. But yeah, I think I will go for this one. It kind of looks like the GDI one, which is a Command and Conquer reference if you didn't know. Which is another great strategy game too. I love Command and Conquer, my favourite game of all time. But yeah, anyway, I think that should do. So yeah, let's go. We have this little thing at the beginning of each
Commander's
one.
personal record. Vanguard Expeditionary Forces. Cryosleep cycle completed. No casualties. Time since launch, 197 years. We're finally
Wow.
back. After a storm destroyed our hyperspace passage, we had to take the long way around. Most of us joined the Vanguard to escape our past. 2 centuries should be enough to give everybody a clean slate. Time to contact Vanguard Central Command. We are heading for Leave 6, the military transit hub in this section of the borderlands. The crew is already speculating about visiting the Elysium parks. Gambling, booze, and promiscuous androids. Oh well, after 2 centuries of sleep, it's time for some fun. Something is wrong. We have reached the Leaf 6 star system, but instead of orbital patrol, there was only scattered wreckage awaiting our arrival. While searching for survivors, we spotted a ship of unknown configuration. Entering the planet's atmosphere, it ignored our hails. Residual void interference prevents us from scanning the surface.
And then we get this epic
The
shot.
Elysium parks
Shot here.
must wait. We have a new mission. We need to assess the strategic situation on Leaf 6. Contact Vanguard Central Command and help them clean up this mess. Prepare for Planetfall, for the Vanguard, and for the Union!
And then we start. It gives you like a description, if you saw at the top left there, of the planet's configuration. So how much of it is land, how much of it is water, whether it's like all like one big piece of land surrounded by water, or if it's like continents or different islands and stuff. So it's pretty cool. And then yeah, we come down here and we start, and then we get this. With base camp set, we're ready to march out. Down here, it's the same desolate images in orbit. It's all deserted and charred ruins. The tropical paradise Vanguard Central created for their soldiers gone to hell. Someone has been fighting a war here. The question is who and when. So far, none of our standard frequency calls have been answered. If there are any survivors, they're either cut off from communications or unwilling to talk. Time to search the old-fashioned way with our laser rifles ready. And then robot noises. It's Tapples. Would you look at that, Lieutenant Jiang? Your little friend is making himself comfortable in this rotten place. Yes, ma'am, but it's no surprise my brother used to be stationed at one of the Leave 6 repair stations. This is where we assembled Tapples. You must be feeling close to it. Hey, Tapples, where do you think you're going? And he's gone. Well, shit. So yeah, this is how we start. This is what it looks like, you know. So, this is how it's configured, and of course, like I said, the colour scheme changes depending on what you pick and stuff, and this is what it looks like. Then you have our armies, that's our basic start army, our commanding army, and then you get this one down here, which of course this army would be bigger if you had picked the military detachment thing, which would have got the colony supplements, and that would have gotten you a bigger army here, but it's not big of a difference, it's not too much of a deal. And then this is the unit production stuff. So these are the things you can build. Whenever you found a colony, you get to pick one of these central buildings, which basically depends, you know, if you pick one that either produces more energy, more food, more production, or more science. And you can see at the top in the middle there, it shows you how much of each thing it is producing already. So I like to go for the biofarm usually, because just getting food up makes people happier and stuff. So yeah, and then you have these buildings here and such. I usually go for the specialist training center first, because the unit it unlocks is better than what you would get from the skirmisher barracks. So you can just put that in production for now, and we can already annex one place at this moment in time, and we can set these people off to go wherever we wish. Looks like a little robot friend is trying to solve some company, though wait a second, aren't those road sweeper units patrolling the streets? I may not be an expert on maintenance robots, but the last time I checked they didn't require any laser guns to do their cleanup. Troop hygiene must have really dropped since we've left. Good one, Commander, though I doubt this place has seen any visitors that would have appreciated a clean walkway in quite a while. It's completely deserted. Agreed. Either way, I suggest we interrupt this particular mopping up before our little pet gets blown into pieces.
Objective completed.
Yes, we get a reward for this. You can either sell it for energy or take it, and I'd always take the reward. There's no point selling it for energy. Energy production isn't something you have too much of a problem with. So yeah, anyway, we can move out and stuff to certain places, but also we can annex our first section. Now, see over there, this is a landmark, and these are always good to annex because they get you some good stuff, and they're a pretty big space as well. There's a lot of land, but you can't annex it until you control it. Whereas you can just annex these sectors here that are, you know, empty, that don't have anything important in their capital. So just do that, and then one turn later, it'll have been annexed. These are resources on the ground that you can pick up and stuff. Then there's, like, if you look down in the bottom right, you will see our little flag, our insignia, and then a school one, and then 3 blank ones. Now those blank ones represent factions we haven't met yet. Then there's of course ours there, and then the one at the very end is the Independence. Now this basically is all of the NPC factions that aren't main factions. So there'll be commanders like us who will have colonies like we do and stuff like that, who we can either fight or create alliances with and such, and they're those blank ones you see. But the school one at the end is the Independents, who are these marauders, this NPC army of Marauder Guard. So the marauders who will attack anyone and everyone. They don't discriminate, they just want to take control. And then over here we have the NPC army of Paragon faction. Now these are another NPC army who come under the Independents, but they aren't hostile immediately, so we'll meet up with them later. But yeah, I'll end this video here now, because I just wanted to show you how everything works, and that, so you can tell me if you're interested. If not, then we'll not continue, but if you are, then I'm more than happy to keep playing, because I've played this quite a lot already. I've completed loads of different campaigns and stuff, and yeah, so I do know a bit about it and how it works and stuff, so we shouldn't have too much trouble. But no game is the same. Like, you don't start in the same place. Like, you see this isn't how you will start if you do this mission. You'll start in a completely different part of the map usually. and the terrain will be different and stuff like that. So it's never exactly the same. Most of the planets are sort of scripted to look a certain way, but where you start won't be identical every time. Because trust me, I've started one and started in a really good place, and then another time when I've started somewhere that is pretty rubbish. But anyway, yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you know, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, and I'll continue doing it. If not, let me know and I'll stop. But I have a feeling at least some of you will be interested in seeing this. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you and goodbye.